Hi guys, Romeo Hertz here today to give you another chapter of Naruto 636 chapter review. Um, what, I mean, this chapter, I'm not really, I'm okay with it. Um, it's not anticlimactic. I mean, it's not. I don't really have much investment anymore in this fight, but we'll get on to it. We'll move on. I'm going to give you a synopsis and then go back and look at the points because I think that's more efficient and I get more done quicker than just going through the points and giving my opinions, and it just slows down the progress. So first of all, it's the Obito versus Kakashi fighting, and for the last 4 chapters that we've had them fighting, it's all been a genjutsu, which is disappointing. It's something Kishimoto used in his Itachi versus Sasuke fight. I can appreciate that Sharingan versus Sharingan, you're going to go into genjutsu at some point, but I didn't feel it was needed, and it didn't really illustrate anything to me. It didn't progress anything. I thought it was a waste of time. With the Sasuke versus Itachi genjutsu, it showed a lot of intentions, a lot of reasoning, and just when Sasuke broke out of that genjutsu, it showed that he had the capability to surpass Itachi, at least in genjutsu, or at least break out of it. I mean, that casting it and breaking out of it are 2 different things entirely. They require 2 different skill sets. Here, none of that, because we already understand. I mean, everything that could have been said and understood was kind of said and understood without the use of the genjutsu. Yeah, I mean, I felt that was a waste of time. And we could have done without it, and I think that ultimately hurts this climactic fight between the 2. I thought it was very short, but so they make this sign of combat, which we saw with Naruto and Sasuke flashback, and many people assume that's what's going to happen with them when they have their fight. And the way Kishimoto structured this fight, I like the idea, I like the concept. It gave this fight more flavour. Is that during the fight, it would jump back to a past spar that Obito and Kakashi had, just at a slightly higher level. I think to me it looked like a Genin level fight, and this looked like a Chunin level fight. There wasn't really anything. I mean, yeah, it wasn't really. There wasn't anything that I was like, "Whoa, shit! This is Kage level stuff," which I'll get onto later. And during this fight, Kakashi has an understanding that the Obito back in the day was what mattered to him. It was him that he got his lessons out of. He understands that old Obito is gone now, but lives on in himself and in Naruto. But it doesn't live on in this new Obito. And this new Obito is trying to get rid of what this old Obito, the will of this old Obito, the goals and the ideals of this old Obito. And Kakashi pretty much says, well, you're not the person I once knew. You're a different person. And you're a threat. You're a rogue ninja, in fact, because there's a little bit about Sasuke being a rogue ninja, and we have to eliminate him, and Naruto wanting to become stronger to bring him back. And I think this is a good parallel for the future in terms of what's going to happen with Naruto and Sasuke. But he says, I'm going to have to kill you. You're not the person I once knew. There's no way to bring him back, so I'm going to kill you. And I like the fact that the talking was done to the minimum. We got to the point. So they eventually get to this dual exchange, which we've seen twice now in the Genjutsu. Well, twice, I guess once, and which was no dual exchange. It was Kakashi by carrying Obito, and then a dual exchange. And this one was an actual dual exchange. Kakashi gets stabbed by the rod that Pain can summon because of the Rinnegan from Obito, and Obito uses a kunai, a Raikiri infused kunai, and it goes right through Obito's heart, right through his chest, right through his heart. And unlike the Genjutsu, he doesn't just walk out of that. It's actually bleeding. There's loads of blood coming down. Blood's coming from his mouth. It seems to be, if not a fatal wound, a very crippling wound. And Obito admits defeat. He says, "You know what? I'm going to bow out. You beat me. You won the battle, but you haven't won the war." And he disappears, which, well, And then we jump to the second part, which is the Madara versus Hashirama clone. And Madara, he can't be asked. The fight isn't really worth his time. As far as he's concerned, it's not even close to fodder level entertainment. Really annoying that his priorities, I don't understand his priorities, but then maybe he thinks that no matter what they do, they can't really hurt the Jubi. But he notices Obito coming out of his pocket dimension, falling to the ground, and he recognizes that Obito just got his shit wrecked, and he understands that Obito's life, if it's not fading, it's in a very dire state, where he can't be used anymore. And Madara pretty much starts uses a seal, because you've got to remember that Madara was the one who gave Obito his right arm, his Hashirama cells. And Madara uses the seal, and the right side of his arm starts becoming black, and it's kind of like, I say it's like Black Zetsu, and it makes sense. I mean, Black Zetsu, yeah, I'm pretty sure Black Zetsu right side was black as well, and it had Madara's will. And here you see it again, but it's kind of got some Rinnegan type infusions, like the things producing from his back, similar to Nagato when he summoned the Gedo Mazo. And he's taken control of Obito's body. Obito reflects on Rin. And then later, and that's the last thing I wouldn't say the last thing he sees, but Obito performs a seal for the Rinne Tensei, which is where he's going to revive Madara by sacrificing himself. Don't know why he can't sacrifice someone else, but and that's where the chapter ends. Now, what did I think of this chapter? Well, Obito's defeat is unreasonable, as far as I'm concerned. Everyone in the fandom is constantly confused why Obito is not using the Rinnegan, not using any of the abilities which would solve all the problems that he's been having. Why does Kishimoto keep drawing him with the Rinnegan when he never uses it? At the start of this war, he even said, my eye is hungry for battle, so this implies that he can use the Rinnegan's abilities. I also felt this fight was, as I kind of mentioned, was kind of low level. It was tuning level, it wasn't even on the same level as, to me, the Naruto versus Sasuke fight at the end of part 1, wasn't that level. Wasn't that level at all. It's very substandard. I mean, this Kakashi has so many jutsus. I really wanted to see. This is really where Kakashi could have made something of himself. Could have proved himself a badass. Used a lot of different jutsus. I mean, I know he was. No, it's not an excuse anymore. Kishimoto doesn't care about the fact that characters have chakra reserves. They don't really have chakra reserves anymore, because he's sacrificing that restriction for the entertainment of the story. So I was really expecting something more powerful, more eye candy. I expected this fight to last 2 chapters at least. I expected the whole read underneath a proper ninja fight, like Deidara versus Sasuke. Just all the fights in the past, and considering how competent Obito has shown to be throughout the course of the series, not at the start. At the start of the series, he was nothing, but after his transformation, he's shown to be at an incredibly high level, incredibly versatile, and he's got wood abilities, he's got fire abilities. With the Rinnegan, he should have access to other abilities as well. But he doesn't use any of them. The closest thing he uses is a fire style, and a very basic one at that. And it was very Genin / tuning level, and I don't understand why. And another thing is, when Tsunade and the Kages got Obito's DNA, they mentioned that, at first they thought they could find a way to defeat him, and then later on they remarked that he really is immortal. I don't see any of that in this fight, and to me that just shows that Kishimoto built Obito up to be the main bad guy, but when he introduced Madara back into the story, I think he had 2 characters who were just too OP, just simply too OP, and he needed to get rid of one, because by rights there's no way Kakashi should have stood a chance on his own, let alone defeat him. And Obito walks into that Raikiri, he walks right into it, and it's kind of not acceptable to me for a character who's shown such a level of intelligence. I mean, he's got Izanagi, come on. I mean, it's not like he's going to use it, but I expected something of that level. I really thought, well, this was going to be it. If Kakashi could defeat him, I really just felt that was a disservice to the characters that Kishimoto had built up in terms of a combat standpoint. I don't have a problem with the rest of this chapter, really. I've lost most of my investment with the Obito and Kakashi. They've been sacrificed a lot. Kakashi's been sacrificed for Naruto and Sasuke. And Sakura, I suppose, in that he really should be at the forefront with the rest, not Sakura. And Obito's been sacrificed for Madara. To this day, I felt the best thing Kishimoto could have done was never have took off Obito's mask. Never have done it, because it's just destroyed his character, and he's been happy to retcon and just bring Obito down to such a degree that this fight was meaningless to me. In fact, he's such a hollow character that kind of in the last moments, because we don't know if he's going to die next chapter, but seemingly in the last moments of his life, he's thinking about Rin, and it's like, Rin, that happened almost, 17 years ago? You'd think he'd have more connections. I just can't buy Rin, because I don't know who Rin is. She's a medic ninja. he likes her, but there's nothing for me that makes me understand what he's lost. I don't value her as a character because I don't know her, and because she's dead and he's doing all this stuff for her, because I don't value her, I don't understand what he's lost. So Kishimoto constantly throwing this reasoning into my face is just very hollow. Yeah, that's really it. I'm not disappointed, I'm sad. I'm sad that Kishimoto didn't do more for these characters. And he built them up so well, and then he's done everything in his power to destroy this character who really was a really good villain. A really, not just a really good villain, but a villain you could respect. He was charismatic, he was enjoyable to listen to, he was snarky, he was witty. And all these features have been translated to the revived Madara. The biggest mistake Kishimoto could have made was reviving all these characters. Huge mistake. And when people look back throughout this series, this is going to be the reason why Naruto went into the shit, you know, why people just stopped caring and only looked at it not as a quality piece but as a form of entertainment, because he's sacrificing so much investment to make us invest in these dead characters who do nothing for the story apart from ruin it. So that's me. Romeo hurts. You know, I don't have a problem with this chapter. It was unremarkable to me, and it was saddening to see the final destruction of a character, which I really enjoyed. Romeo hurts today. Thanks again, guys. See you later.